Coming off an emotional weekend, so 2 5-setters at home against two really good teams, and up 2-1, which is also an interesting thing about our season is we've been up 2-1 in all four of our losses. Very, very different matches, though. So on Friday, played against SMU, who, their right side, it was almost like the Jordan flu game. She was green during the game and just was playing really well. And, we had a big lead in the fifth, and a lot of missed opportunities, and then ran into a buzzsaw with Pitt on Sunday in what could have been a nice bounce-back match. But their opposite is probably one of the best volleyball players I've ever seen live. And some matches we've played her a lot. Some matches we've had solutions for her. Other matches she's had her way, and that was one of the better performances I've ever seen. Probably the best performance I've ever seen on the other side of the net. So again, an emotional weekend. I think there's a healthy feeling of frustration within our program that I think is going to make for a great week of practice moving into Duke and UNC. As Nancy said, Duke, Duke's been up and down. They've got a really talented roster. They play at Cameron Indoor, which is always circled on my schedule. It's such a fun place to play. And then UNC is first in our conference. They just got a brand new TerraFlex floor. I think we've been flexed to the 3:00 ESPN game. It's going to be packed there, and there's a super high-powered offense. So we've got two really tough teams coming up on the road.
Yeah, you mentioned being ahead 2-1 in your four losses. Any common denominator or why you fell off a little bit, I guess? Or?
Each match is a different story. Being up 2-1, this isn't soccer where if you lose in overtime, you get a 1 point instead of 2. Like, a loss is a loss. If you get swept and you score 10 points, it's the same thing like losing in 5 and a heartbreaker by 2. So there's no moral victories in being up 2-1 or anything like that. But what I will say is, with our team, when you do hang an L, it's a different feeling when you're like, man, we should have won that. As opposed to like, oh, look, we were close with them, or, oh, we had our shots. It's like, God, we really had it. So I like the feeling that our team has of the fact that, like, we're expected to win these matches, but we just weren't able to close. In each of them, if there was a common denominator, I felt like our side out, we would get stuck, but it hasn't been the same rotation. It's been kind of a different story each time. So I think just finding quick solutions to, all-purpose side outs, would probably be the one thing. But again, our team can see it. Like, we've played great for long stretches. We just got to become a complete match team.
You got a veteran squad. Do you get concerned about maybe their mental approach coming off such a difficult weekend, trying to rebound over 2 difficult losses at all? Or?
I mean, concern, no, but I think it's probably something to address. Fifth set. So we've only lost in 5, but we've only gone 5 in those 4 matches. So I think for us in the practice gym, we want to make sure that we're putting ourselves in challenging situations that address how to win a 5th set, as opposed to you've got this monkey on your back, how are you going to get over it? It's like, well, let's just identify these 3 things we want to accomplish in a 5th set, and the results will take care of themselves. So we've already been talking as a staff of a drill that we're going to add this week, just as like, hey, here's our 5th set mentality, here's how we're going to attack it, accomplish these 3 goals. And for me, it's like when you have something like that, as opposed to something chasing you got to chase it back. So it's like, you don't want to go 5. I want to sweep all the matches, but I'm excited for the next time we go 5 because we want to attack that and win a 5th set.
And you talked about how good Babcock was. Have you ever seen anybody with 41 kills in a match?
I don't think I've seen in the 30s a couple times, but in the 40s, no. I think she had 46 total points. And again, their strength versus what people perceive as our weakness, we have smaller left sides we have for years, played into the match where it was just like the entire match was played in that regard, where a lot of times it's a little bit more evenly distributed. So I think the game script for their offense played into those opportunities. I mean, a lot of times players don't even have opportunities to get that many swings, let alone points. And I felt, especially for our newer players, players that were starting for the first year and all that, she was playing that match, but she was also playing, I think, the Final Four match from the year prior where, she had 30-some points and we were able to figure out the victory. So she had a little bit of a chip on her shoulder, and it was a very, very impressive performance by her.
You touched on this some, but just overall, where do you feel you stand now at this point in the season?
We've seen some great stretches. That's the thing is, I think, a few people I'm close with and mentors and stuff will reach out after big wins and tough losses and all that. And, one person in particular that was at the match was Anna Stevenson Hall, who's, Louisville legend. She was there with her, I don't know, 2-month-old. And she was like, man, I hate to see you guys lose, but man, you guys are so good. She's like, I can't believe how good you are. And because I know she's looking at those stretches of play where we're playing great. And, I think defensively, we've got a chance to be one of the best defensive teams that Louisville's had, and that's always been a strength of ours. But again, we've seen flashes of it, we've seen long moments of it, but we haven't, especially in those 5 setters, we haven't been a full match team yet where we've kept that level of play the entire time. So I think that's going to be our big focus is, making sure that we keep that level of play as long as possible. But again, we've seen it in flashes. And again, I'll stress the defense that we can play is really, really impressive. In particular, our backcourt defense, like our digging, the way we keep balls up is, this year in particular, is as good as I can remember us ever doing it.
Does it ever become a concern that the 5-set thing becomes a mental thing for the girls?
Like I said, I wouldn't call it a concern, but I would call it something we're going to address. And, when things like that, you have a monkey on your back or things are chasing you, got to chase them back. So we're going to install a couple things this week that we're going to keep on the entire year, just kind of sprinkle it in once a week as far as like, here's, again, when you're faced with something like that where it's like we're probably going to be in a 5th set again, and I won't have to remind the team that we're 0-4 in 5th sets, like it's part of the deal. But what we want to do, as opposed to being like, okay, this is the chance to just win that, we want to say, hey, remember in the practice gym, we want to accomplish these 3 goals in this set that we're about to play, and then the result will take care of itself. So if we can segment that 5th set a little bit more, that's how we're going to approach it. And I said it earlier, we're not seeking out a 5th set, but I'm excited for the next time we have one because I want to make sure we can hit these 3 goals and we can win a 5th set.
After the game, I talked to Olivia Babcock, and she was saying, she said, I told Coach Danny Fisher, how good Chloe Chacon was. I think he believes me now.
Yeah, I saw those two talking after the game too. I think they have a healthy rivalry, and they've played on some USA teams together and things like that. And I was really, really proud of Chloe Chacon because, with her within our system, it's her first year with us as a transfer. She's already hit 1,000 kills. A majority of those were at Purdue. But finding her, how she's going to influence winning within our program, I thought for her individual performance in that match, we came up just short, but I was really proud of the impact that she had, as a point scorer, serving, she passed great. She's a really, really fun player, so I think that's a cool compliment from another great player.
And talk about her being undersized, yet it doesn't seem to affect her play or her point total anyway.
No, and teams continue to attack at her. I think, as we have Pitt coming up in a month or so. I think there's some adjustments we need to do with her blocking because clearly teams are going to attack her as a blocker. But she's plenty serviceable. But yeah, she's a complete player. I mean, she does every skill really, really well. And the cool thing for Chloe is that, as a newer player, as a transfer in, she's starting to become a really cemented leader within our group. And I think that's just her style of play. After the match, I pointed her out to the team as well as we were talking through things. She just has an energy and an aura that kind of takes up the room. And she's so competitive. I love that she's a leader for our program.
Can you just talk about the matchup with Duke, how we match up against Duke and North Carolina?
So Duke and UNC are very unique. Duke, they've hung some really weird losses, but also had some really good matches that they've competed hard in. But they're somebody that you don't always know what you're going to get. You might prep for one thing, and then they throw something completely different at you. So I always like that test for our group and being really, really resilient and being ready to adjust on the fly. And then UNC is one of the best offenses in the country. They run a 6-2 where they've got 4 pin hitters that they can set very evenly, where when we played Pitt, you knew that Babcock was going to lead them in attempts. With UNC, you don't always know who that's going to be because they've got so much talent at all the positions. So for us, I thought we could have defended a little bit better against Pitt in particular. I think UNC for sure is going to be that test of like, okay, can we take a really high-powered offense and have some solutions for them to drive them back down? Because, I mean, if they hit over 300, it's not going to be a fun result on Sunday.
Jody, you have anything? Anybody else?
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate y'all. Have a good week.